Go over here a little bit, Jen. Look, I'll just get back and I'll film him coming in and then seeing you, and then I'll just turn it off and come and see you. Yeah.
Idiot, son. Is it still going?
Okay, now watch this. It's going to turn 3 flips, and then it's going to come right back to me.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da.
So much more.
End of TV.
Thank you. Uh-oh. You throw it over the wire? Here, do that.
Oh, hey, that's one that Hirsch Beam used to do.
Can Hirsch Beam juggle?
Yeah, he's good. Who taught you how to juggle, Steve?
Okay, ready? Let's have a joint juggle.
All right. It's the steps.
Come on. Come
We're
on.
gonna get bumped.
Chuckle. Chuckle. Nobody wants to see your ugly old checkout muscles.
I Ready?
Okay.
Hey Steve, that's real high on the dull parent schedule.
Yeah, I can hear over there.
Freezing buns.
Here, we'll throw
Let's
this
see
in
when-
and see if we can catch it before it hits the bottom.
Let's see.
Are you watching?
Funny, you can watch TV.
I know.
You can even watch movies,
I
couldn't you?
know.
Let's see.
Here you go, Steve, catch.
Not we did.
Okay. Did you get it?
Nope. There he is.
Right, yeah. It's nullified to the clay on the bottom.
It's a long way down. Out here in the country.
Oh.
Take a dive, Steve.
Why don't you go down in there and I'll take a picture of Ollie.
Okay.
Oh, some underwater shots, Dad.
Okay.
What happened to our sunshine? It's cold. Wait, don't let go of me. What about me? Why are you wet?
Oh. Hiding.
Okay. Don't you the light on?
Yeah.
Mom, don't you laugh and stuff. Make sure you can see. Or you can hear it. Oh, my Coke's down there. Can you see it, Steve? It's not like a... What did you take a picture of me shivering here? Thanks a lot.
Taking a picture of your goosebumps.
All right, Dad, go get it. Come on, Mom. I gotta sit down. You ready, Mom?
Yeah.
I'll put on a show for
30 feet, Jam.
you. Ready?
Ow. I used to wear my glasses in swimming.
Yeah, you wore glasses for a while, didn't you?
I remember when Steve had his eye examination. Yes, he couldn't even see.
Go down and try one more time to find it. No way. Thanks.
Well, if it's Sprite, I'd do it, but if it's Coke, we get it.
Here, Steve. You want me to?
Oh.
I'm gonna spray.
Go jump in. You're not shivering too badly now, John. Come on, we need some splash.
Is that the fog down there?
Turn it off.
Okay.
What?
You!
How come?
I think we should go check out the nude sunbather.
You're whiter than I am.
This just shows that I've been keeping down to the work.
Keeping the rules.
Come, somebody jump in and make a nice big splash for me.
Steven, what are you doing?
Making a cake.
What kind of a cake?
A damn cake.
One of those damn cakes.
What river are you damming up, John? Where are you damming?
The Yellow River.
In China?
No.
Where?
What?
Where?
In Navarro.
Oh, the Navarro.
I think the object is to make mine bigger.
Take us home. This is insanity. I gotta go to the dentist in 5 minutes.
Steve, tell us about the have any body floss?
Oh, 3/4 of the pancake turned over.
Let's see, Jan. Oh! All right, anybody else?
Alright, I've been ordered by Dad to reflect upon my mission here.
Okay, you might have to talk a little louder, Steve.
Okay. A bit of my posterity might come after me. I'm gonna talk a little bit about some things. What happened instead? When I I kind of decided then that I should, and so about Christmas of '79, I told my, so then after I got home after the next semester of school, I filling out the papers and stuff, and after all that stuff taken care of, I worked the sand park. Then while we were out there, I was checking our mailbox because I hadn't gotten my call yet, and so she called and said that I had opened up the letter and read it to me, and it said that I was going to some exotic day's wedding at Van Dam, the MTC. I left the 4th or 5th of October of 1980, and Dad and Mom drove me down to San Francisco, and I 5 days with Eugene, and we just kind of fooled around and went to shows and stuff. And I was there we went to Mr. Max in Salt Lake, and I'd never owned a white shirt in my life, and didn't know how to tie a tie, or didn't have a suit or anything. So we spent $800 worth of boots and coats and bathrobes and socks and shoes and everything in an hour in Mr. Max. So that was pretty exciting. Then, so I got my hair cut then on my on October 8th, the night that kind of thing. I say, and my partner in the MTC was a really quiet guy. So, we had a pretty good district. Hero came into the MTC, and he was, it turned out that he was my next door neighbor, and he was in my same branch, and he had the same P-Day I did and everything, so we got to spend a lot of time with each other for the next 4 weeks while we were both in the MTC. So that was kind of fun. And then after a week of that, after I'd been in there 2 weeks, Ruth and all. So that was kind of fun to have 4 people that I knew in there, that I knew from my ward at BYU there. So that was kind of fun. So the MTC was a pretty good experience. We learned the discussions, and it was pretty hard, I guess. You know, they pound all that information, Featherstone and Fyans and some guys like that, and that was pretty interesting. For me at first to be with all the rules compared to the way, you know, my life had normally been, but I adjusted. We moved in the morning and took a bus up to Salt Lake Airport, and Dave and Debbie and Bethine and Aunt Betty were there, and they said goodbye to me. I got on the plane. We spent about a couple hours there, and so I got on the plane and to O'Hare Airport there. This is on the 12th of November, 1980. Excuse me. And the assistants, Elder Morgan and Elder Mossman, they're there, and so they gave us our name tags, and we were all a bunch of like a lost sheep running around, didn't know what was going on in the big city, and they're kind of corralling us around. So anyway, from there we went to the mission home, and we spent the night there with President and Sister Peterson, and that was a pretty fun night. And then our companions rolled up, and my president interviewed me. I guess he had seen my records and said I was a pretty smart guy and that I could handle my area well. He was sending me to Wheaton, which he told me was where Billy Graham did. And I was all ready to conquer the world. I'd taken a Book of Mormon in my pocket in the airplane. I was all ready to give it away to someone, but unfortunately no one sat by me. So I didn't get to give it away. Anyway, so the next morning, President told me my first partner was named Elder Lovern. I thought he said Elder Lover, so I didn't know until a little later his name was Lover. It's pretty close to where the mission home is in Lombard there. So the apartment, the guy I was replacing was just going home, wasted me, and then also the apartment was really small, and I was kind of bummed out pretty bad day, and I was just like, I couldn't stand tracting for a while. Anyway, after about a week or so, things were starting to mellow out, and I felt a lot better about what we were doing. Elder Lovern was kind of backward in his ways, and kind of bossy type, but we got along pretty well. And so I was in Wheaton for 2 months, from November to January, about 15th, and it was pretty cold a lot of the time. we tracked it a lot. We didn't have very many investigators. We taught a few people. There's a lot of really good members in the area, and we'd visit with them. They're really good to us. He was the 70s in Wheaton there. We went to the Glenbard Ward, the Heaton's house, and who I'd teach. He was an excommunicated church, so I'd teach the discussions to him with Brother Heaton. And so we'd go there once a week and to do that, and then they'd also have us over for dinner once a week, so they're really nice to us. And so anyway, Jane there, they told us that they're closing down. Lovern and I got shipped out, and President told me he was sending me to Hammond. He was it all, so he sent me down there. And so my partner there was Steve Peterson, who's married now. He was a pretty good guy. He was from Fairfield, California. And the first month I was there, we didn't. Then the last year, we got along really well. And he kind of, Lovern was pretty, he didn't keep the rules very well, but he thought he was really righteous. But Peterson was more kind of choose your own destiny type thing, and it helped me to get into missionary work more because I was more relaxed. I didn't feel like I had to be, really self-righteous all the time, and so we got a lot done, and we had a good time doing it. Cold most of the time, and we tracked a lot, and they went pretty well. So anyway, after I was in the South Shore Ward then, and they split it while I was there to the Griffith Ward, Griffith first, I think. So that was in Indiana. We had Ham, Chicago, Whiting, Munster, Highland, Dyer, the north part of Gary, but it was pretty fun. So then after I'd been there 3 months, we thought Peterson was going to get shipped out. But but President called that transfer morning and said that I was getting shipped out. And he said he was sending me to Blue Island. And I still didn't know the mission very well by this time, and so I didn't know where Blue Island was. So anyway, I went up to Blue Island, and my partner was Elder McLean there. He was born in Nova Scotia, and for the last few years, he's a convert to the church of a few years. He was 25. Anyway, I was with him for 3 months, and he was a really hard worker, and we got a lot done. We had some really excellent investigators, but none of them got baptized, which was kind of a bummer. We taught some pretty good people, and we had some pretty spiritual times, and things went pretty well. After I'd been with him a month, after I'd been out 7 months, I got made a senior companion, which made me feel really good. And so then for the last 2 months that I was with him, we were co-equal. And things went really well with him. We really worked hard, and it was for the first time on my mission, the weather was really nice because it had been really cold, and so we got to be out all the time, and we could really go for it, which was really nice. So after I'd been with him for 3 months, I was with a president called me up and he asked me if I'd like to train. So I kind of hinted around that I wanted to train. So he called me and told me that I was going to train. By this time, I'd been with McLean for 3 months, and I was kind of ready to get a new partner. So he told me I was going to be with Elder Johnson, who was a brand new missionary. So so transfer morning came, and Johnson came, and he's from Manti, Utah. Kind of had a funny accent. And so it was pretty fun to be with him. He was one of my favorite partners. He was, just brand new to me, and we worked really hard together and taught some pretty good discussions. And so I was with him for 2 months. in Blue Island there. We lived in, while I was there, we lived in a foursome, and we had, when I first moved there, Elder Speth and Elder Flint were there, and then when I left, Elder Richens and Elder Heyer were there, and they were really cool guys. I'd been with Johnson for 2 months. I had been there 5, and I knew I was ready to go. So, President called me up and told me that I was going to Joliet to be a Spanish, to be with a Spanish. I had taken 3 years of Spanish, like in high school, and he, you know, thought I could work out pretty with Spanish elder. I think he thought I spoke more Spanish. I was going down to a place. He was with Elder Huerta, and Elder Huerta and him didn't get along. So I moved into a foursome, and I was with Elder Huerta, who was formerly with Huerta. Went with in Spanish speaking. So it was a fun experience being with Spanish people and see that kind of culture, which was really neat. Elder Huerta was kind of a headstrong elder, and he was really into the Spanish people, and because I was white, didn't really, you know, he thought that I couldn't handle not Spanish speaking, which caused some, you know, wasn't very fun. But we got along really well. I was with him for 2 months. After I was there a month, we split up from the foursome, and we moved. We used to live on Stone Street, and then Elder Huerta and I moved into the Spanish section on Eastern Avenue. So we lived there by ourselves, and Elder Panner got Elder Jones after they had moved, and after I was with Huerta for 2 months, I got with Elder Busquets, who was a pretty good guy. He was born in Cuba. Huerta was from San Antonio, and hey, Keisha, Keisha. The dog's eating the recorder here. Huerta was from San Antonio. He was 23, and he was married once and for 5 days, and kind of had a lot of morality problems. So he was kind of get away from his past life and try to start out new. Busquets was born in Cuba and moved to the United States when he was 8 years old, and his parents didn't speak any English. He was from like Inglewood, California. So anyway, Busquets and I were with each other for a month, and we got along really well. He was a really mellow guy, and we baptized Joe Browning together, which was really fun. We taught him and had some really spiritual experiences doing that, and that was pretty fun. Let's see. I got to Joliet in September, I guess, and then I left. By the time I left, it was getting cold again, and I left in December. So President called me up again and told me. By this time, I was hoping to get made a district leader. So to be a district leader. So he called me up and said he's sending me to North Chicago Heights to be with Elder Balls, and that I wasn't getting made a district leader. He didn't say that. He just didn't make me one. So I was kind of... I was with Elder Kennison, excuse me. But I wasn't made a district leader. So I went to North Chicago Heights, and we lived in a foursome in Glenwood there. And I was with Elder Kennison, who's from Payson, Utah. He was a... So I was with him for 2 months, and we didn't baptize anyone together, but we taught a really neat couple. His name was Franklin Lewis, and he was living with a girl at the time named Kristen, and they weren't married. He was a returned missionary, former assistant in his mission and everything, and he had been excommunicated and was trying to come back into the church. So Kennison and I went over there once a week and taught spiritual times together, showing them, the discussions, and they eventually got married pretty soon. As soon as Franklin can be fun to be involved in that. Kennison is really a cool guy, and we got along really well. He was really mellow. Nothing got him riled at all. So we got along really well. It was really cold while I was with him. We spent a lot of time playing Risk and reading and stuff because it was too cold to go out. January of '82, it was the coldest month in the history of Chicago. One day it was like 23 degrees below zero and 82 degrees with wind chill factor. And like church 3 times in a row because it was so cold and the snow and everything. It's kind of a bummer. You'd freeze to death all the time. So anyway, after I was with Kennison, well, after I was with him for a month, I got made a district leader. And Elder Sam, who was really a cool guy from Springville, Utah, and Elder Ingen went home right a month after I got there, and Sam got transferred out to Crete. And so the zone leaders moved in with us. It was Elder Stanger and Elder Snar were in the apartment with us. So they're in the district. I got made a district leader a month after I had been in Chicago Heights, which was really good. We had district there, so I things like that, and it was really fun. So after I'd been with Kennison for 2 months, I guess it was in February, he left, and Elder Ball's president called me up and told me I was with Elder Balls, and I lived with Elder Balls in Joliet while he was with Elder Panter, and I wasn't too excited about getting him because he wasn't too bright a guy and it wasn't too stimulating. But so he came to be with me, and so I was with him for 3 months total, and we got along pretty well. It wasn't the best of times, but we got along pretty well. We taught and baptized Vicki Wilson while I was with him, which is really fun. Elder Balls was from Dayton, Utah, just in Cache Valley. Dayton, Idaho, excuse me, in Cache Valley, and like 6'2" and weighed 200. That really always had to our life away together. Tracted all the time. Tracted my whole mission, and so I was with him, and things went pretty well. So after I was with Balls for 3 months, after I was with him about a month, we were living in Glenwood there, and our landlord kicked us out because we were only supposed to have 2 guys in the apartment, and they didn't know we had 4 in there. So we tried to find another apartment. We finally found one in Chicago Heights. So the 4 of us moved down there. By this time it was Elder Snar and Elder Taylor and Elder Balls and I. So after Snar had been there for 2 months down in Chicago Heights there, Elder leader. So anyway, just about this time, the church came out with the new 18-month mission program. We were in we were watching General Conference on TV, and a couple of the missionaries had heard rumors about this new 18-month mission, and I guess their parents had read it in the paper back in Utah or something, and they had called back to tell their sons there was a new 18-month mission program, and so it was just kind of rumors. They had called President Peterson, and he hadn't heard anything about it, so it was just kind of rumors. And so we were watching conference, the priesthood session, I think it was, and Gordon B. Hinckley comes on and says, "Oh yeah, we're cutting the missions down to 18 months for males," and everyone goes, "Wow!" And so that was the first I'd ever heard of it, and so the mission president pulled us back right right after the meeting and goes, well, you know, I haven't heard anything about this, so we'll just let it go as it stands, but I want you to stay out, you know, as long as, you know, your full 2 years, because that's what we should do. So anyway, right then I go, okay, I'm going to stay out, you know, until October, because that's what I came out to do. But after a while, I thought about it, and I realized that they had given us the option to go home early if we chose. So I talked to Mom and Dad quite a bit, and finally decided that it would be best if I went home 2 months early at 22 months, and go home early and get home in time to go back to college again, back to BYU in the fall, instead of going home like in October and having to wait 3 months to go to school in the winter, or to go on the block. And so we figured it'd save me a lot of time that if I went home 2 months early in August instead of October. So there was another problem simultaneously. President Peterson had told me that he wanted to make me a zone leader, and so at that time I had 6 months left when so I could have gone home right then. And so after a month, I stayed in Chicago Heights for 1 more month, and then I had 5 months left, and I had to 5 months to finish 2 years, and I had to decide whether I was going to stay out the whole 24 months or go home early. So and President Peterson had said that, I asked him, well, you know, he had told me he wanted to make me a zone leader, and I asked him if it was possible if I went home 2 months early, that would have meant I only had 3 months left, if I could still get made a zone leader for those last 3 months. And he goes, no, we couldn't do that. You could either have either be zone leader for 5 months or go home early, you know. So I had to choose either between going to school early or being a zone leader, which was kind of a bummer. So I wrote him a letter and asked him, you know, talked to him about it. And so finally transfers came along, and I didn't know whether I was going to be made a zone leader or not. But I had made my decision that even if he wasn't, that I was still going to go home early. So transfer morning came around again, as it usually does, and he called up and said he's going to make me a zone leader. So that really pleased me a lot. And so I left Bulls and Chicago Heights and my bike, and I got transferred up to Zone 4 to be the zone leader in Zone 4. I had been in Zone 4 for 5 months previously when I was in Blue Island, and I was in the Orland Park Ward then, and I was also in the Orland Park Ward when I was a zone leader in 4, so I got to see some of the people that I knew. They're like Ray Thompson and Sister Scarrow and some other people that I knew from Blue Island. So anyway, I went up and I lived in Burbank for a month with Elder Nielsen was my partner. He's from Salt Lake City, Utah. And so we got along really well together. He was kind of a nice guy, and so we were the zone leaders, and we did a lot of team-ups and a lot of kind of busy work doing interviews for baptism and setting up for baptisms, and we tracked it a lot in our own area. But being a zone leader is a lot of fun because you're not stuck to always tracting. Like, tracting is the only thing you can do. We had a lot of things that we could do, and to help the other missionaries out and everything, and plus doing leadership things and working with the president and with the assistants. So it was a really good experience for me to be a zone leader, and I got to know a lot of the missionaries and try to help them out some more. And we had a car, which is really nice. So anyway, after a month of being in Burbank, we were paying $100 a month each, which was pretty steep there for living in an apartment, or attic apartment. We decided to move to Midlothian, and we lived with the Wallaces there, a member family. When we moved down there, which was, we only paid $70 in our new place, which was really nice. So it was quite a big move. So I was with Nielsen for 2 months altogether, and then I sent him home. And so then my last partner was Elder Panter. He is 24. He was from Pocatello, Idaho, and he had a degree in architecture already, and he's a really smart guy. I had been around him a lot of my mission. I lived with him in Joliet there. He was my district leader in Joliet, and then he was in Hyde Park while I was the zone leader in Zone 4. I was his zone leader in Zone 4, and then he came to be with me for my last month. So we got along really well, and we got a lot of good stuff done. The fun thing about being the zone leader in Zone 4 was we had a lot of contact with the Hyde Park branch, which was really neat. There's a branch that consists of the faculty and students of the University of Chicago, and the other half of it is black people, and it was really neat to have that interaction with them. The church is really growing pretty rapidly in Chicago, and there's a lot of black people coming into the church for the first time, which is really neat. Like the first time I saw a black person pass the sacrament or perform an ordinance or something, that was really neat. And I think it's been really good for the church that they're coming in like they are. There's a lot of really super. So anyway, I was with Panner for a month, and he was kind of a moody dude. Every morning he'd get mad, and every night he was fun to be around. But we had a lot of fun. Elder Sam was in Blue Island, working in Beverly. He lived in Blue Island, and Elder Jones and some other missionaries were there, and so we got to be around them, which was also fun. So anyway, time went really quick, and finally it was time for me to go home. So I didn't really say goodbye to many people. I just kind of left, I guess. It was really sad to go. I think the thing that I missed most about going was that I wouldn't be involved in what was going on in the mission anymore. You really get attached to who's doing what and who people are teaching and things like that, and you miss that. Like, you miss not being able to teach people anymore, to go walk up to a door and just knock on it, anyone's door. And it's really fun to teach people. Just before I left, Elder Sam and I would go on a team up once a week and go visit a guy. He is a minister of some church. His name was Bill Samuels, and he had a PhD from the University of Chicago and everything. He was a black guy. And he got sign language missionaries. He was running a program to help like deaf people and retarded people. So he went to the deaf branch to see what they had to offer, and he met, and they talked to him about the church. So they handed him over to us, and we started teaching him. He was really interested in the church, and he could feel the spirit, which was really neat, and he knew that the church had something good to offer. And so Elder Sam got transferred right when I left down to Hobart, and so Elder Panter and Elder Kapinski they're going to continue to teach him. I guess they're still teaching him, and he came out to church and everything, so maybe he'll get baptized, which would be really neat. So anyway, time came for me to go home, and I didn't get wasted at all. Like, we just worked clear up until the last day, you know, doing regular stuff, and finally the last day I got packed and we went up to the mission home. I went down to transfers and said goodbye to everyone, and then we went to the mission home, and they had, just before the night before I left, they had a little party for me, the guys in Sam's district and the sister missionaries, so that was pretty fun. Then we drove up to the mission home and spent the night there. We had a testimony meeting that night and had interviews. There was, I think, 9 of us going home that same time. So it was pretty good. The president didn't really have anything to say to us. He slapped a temple recommend on us, and so then the next morning we got up and got in our suits and drove us to the airport, and we got all the arrangements taken care of and boarded up our luggage and everything. So we went and got on the plane, me and who else? Elder Farley, some other missionary. We were on the same plane together, and Elder Farley and I should say, for Mom. Excuse me. Anyway, so I flew to Denver, and so I was there by myself. Then, while I was there was another missionary I met. His name was Elder Sam. He was the Sam's cousin that I knew in the Illinois mission. He was his cousin. He lived in Indiana, Hobart, Indiana. So I met and talked to him about his family because I knew his cousin. And so I talked to him. After about a 2-hour layover in Denver, I got on another plane and flew to San Francisco. So I got off the plane, and there were Mom and Dad, and Dad was videotaping me, and I guess this is still on the same reel, I guess. But so it was really good to see Mom and Dad again, and it didn't really seem like I'd ever been away, though, because, you know, we were communicating through letters and everything, and calling them, and so it was, you know, going home, I guess, wasn't as big a deal as, you know, I thought it would be. For 2 years, you know, you build it up in your mind, but then you go home and it's not as big a deal as you suspect. But it's fun to be home. So anyway, we drove up to Fort Bragg, and I've been here for 2 weeks now. My hair has grown out a little bit, and I'm attempting to grow a mustache. But so while I've been here, we went camping for a day up at Dimmick, and Dad and I went up to Eureka for a youth conference for 3 days. And I've just kind of been bumming around. Mark Goby was in town, and I did some things with him, and then he left for Georgetown already. Sharon Applegate's been here, and running, and we went out to Gregory's the other night, and we've had some fun times together. So anyway, today is the 29th of August, I guess, 1982, and Dad and I and John are going down to San Francisco to buy some school clothes and stuff, and then the next day, which will be Wednesday the 1st, where John and I are going to drive out to, we're going to leave early in the morning, drive out to Sacramento, and I'm going to see Charlotte Baimler there for a little while, and then we're going to spend the night at Dave and Judy's house. Then the next morning we're going to drive to Provo, and I'm going to dump John off there, and I guess spend the night there myself. Then the next day I'm going to drive up to Logan to see Margaret Brennan's wedding. Then I'll drive back down to Provo, I guess, to start school again. So I've got 1 year of school behind me, and it seems kind of funny to go back to school again. You know, it's been a long layover, but I'm anxious to get started again, and hopefully goals. So that's yours. yesterday was Sunday, and I spoke in church. I gave my homecoming talk and kind of told them some of the things that I learned on my mission, some of the spiritual aspects, and the talk went really well. I talked for about 15 or 20 minutes, and the talk went really well, and I think I shared with people some of the benefits of being a missionary and the way I felt. I also talked for 10 minutes to the little kids in primary and shared with them some of, what we did on our missions. And then last night I put on a fireside. I showed my slides, about a quarter of my slides of Chicago, and had answered questions that people had, and sang the Illinois song, the mission song. And people really enjoyed that too. And then right after that, Sharon and I went out to Gregory's, which was fun too. About a week and a half ago, I reported to the High Council. I told them about my mission and before the state president and the High Council. That was pretty fun. We went over to Ukiah to do that. Then on Friday, and this Sunday right after that, President Watkins of the state presidency was there, and he released me. He talked to me a little bit he asked me about my mission, and I shared that with him, and released me. So anyway, it's been really fun to be home for these last 2 weeks. Generally, my mission was a really good experience. It's kind of hard to describe because physical things that you can lay your hands on. Sometimes you kind of think, 2 years is a long time. But I'm glad that I went. I think I changed a lot. I'm 2 years older. My attitude toward the church changed, and my commitment to the church is a lot stronger now. I was able to learn about life a lot better because I did go on my mission, and hopefully now I'm sure that I have influenced the lives of other people on my mission. I didn't get a large number of baptisms or anything. I'm frustrated. Everyone would like to have thousands of baptisms, but we didn't baptize very many people in our mission. The people that I did baptize, I feel good about, and I'm sure that not only the people that I did baptize, but there'll be other people that maybe not even that'll be baptized, but that will be influenced by my actions. It was really a good experience. I met some really neat people, met some lousy people too, but you can learn from both the good and the bad people. The members were really nice to us out there, and the people care about you. It's really neat to share your time with someone as freely as you can when you're a missionary, and so that time was really well spent, I think. Obviously, there's a lot of times that I could have done better than I did, but what can you say? I felt that I spent the majority of my time actively doing what I should. So now it's off to school, and I'm 21 now. A lot of my non-member friends are already they're starting their senior year. They're just about. So I'm older, but just starting out in school basically. So I feel like this is the time now to really buckle down and to be serious about my education and my life. And I think that because I'm older now, that I'll be able to better do that. So anyway, that's basically what happened to me in the last 2 years. I guess I couldn't really cover the details of my mission thoroughly, but like one of the general authorities said that primary part of their sanctification, the second reason is for getting converts, and I think that I've been sanctified or changed about my mission. That's it for Chicago, and so I guess my next report on this thing will be at Christmas time. It's kind of sad to leave home again, I guess. We're leaving in 2 days. When you transfer, you just pack up and say good going.
Let's get up there and put something in.
I do the guitar.
Flying guitar lead.
What is it called?
Flying guitar lead.
Yeah, get one.
I gotta find.
Where are you going, Steve?
To the west.
The west? You're going east, Stephen. Where are you going, John? Do you know which way you're going?
Flying guitar lead.
What is it called?
Flying guitar lead.
Yeah, get one.
I gotta find.
Where are you going, Steve?
To the west.
The west? You're going east, Stephen. Do you know which way you're going? John?
I don't know.
What's your ultimate destination?
The woo.
The woo. So you're not telling your mom that, so.
Breed 'em young.
Hey.
Yep.
The zoo.
Okay, here, Stephen. Look intellectual. Okay, John?
Do you have a mustache yet, John?
Yeah, zoom in on my nose.
Oh, John!
All right.
Take 3.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, now leave the other direction. Leave the guitar.
Missionary hat, you ready?
Just a little bit.
Is it? Oh, you're recording. Addison.
This is supposed to be quick. This time it's going to turn out to be gas. Gas? No. Think of it now. You.
Look for the garbage bag.
Goodbye.
Jan, see you guys a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, bye, Jan.
Hang in there. Okay.
Arrived at the 5 minutes of starting time, boys. And I want you to watch the clock as it's counting down.
This is good, Jan. Walk down there.
40 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Hey, John!
As much as I like it here, I'm ready to go. You have to? No. That makes it a little bit easier. Oh. I'm hanging there.
I'll run with you a little ways.
First couple of years. Then it becomes
Good one, John.
208-12. 208-12. Good work.
surge of energy, yeah?
Great. How much further? Oh, Court. Take it in, kid. Hard charging, Steve.
Good work, Steve.
All right. All right. All right.
Usually go out to look, you know, I try to go out purposely slow.
Peter, Clark.
My crotch for
Oh, I got your head.
You show. Okay, he's gonna take a picture of this.
Yeah, I didn't. I think.
Slice?
yeah.
Okay, here.
probably, according to
This about 200 miles.
both ran about 200 miles this semester. And then that's about it.
Well, let's see. Well, something like that, and it's almost all run under redwood trees and stuff. It's real pretty course and stuff. And I don't know. The first both fields.
It's a double out and back course. You go out 7 miles and come back the same way it came, where you started out a 6 leg, another leg, and then cuts for 6. So about I went out at for 10 miles. And what'd you do?
When we came back to the start again, and before we, they cheered us on, and so I felt really good, like I could do it. And then I ran about a mile and I died. And then we had to go over this, and to just, if you were just walking or driving, it wouldn't seem like a big deal, but it kind of broke me, and from then on I was in serious pain. And we,
About 16, 17, 18 was my dire straits time. I did some walking when it's really tough mentally. Kind of a bummer. But like when I came around at about 15, 16, I remember thinking that 10 or 11 more miles left to go, and this race I'd ever run before with no energy left. A bummer.
I remember when I hit about the 13-mile mark, and then every once in a while, 21. I kept long in my life, it's going out. Sometimes I wonder.
The minutes would just go by so. It was very. Anyway, everything. I kind of got a little bit of a tight. Then I also had a problem with my back was tightening up, bothersome. And I also got, right at the end of the race, I looked down at my thighs together, which is kind of a bummer, so I'm walking like a cowboy now. Dick and Tech and Jan Tech ran a 4, what did I say? He ran an under 3.
How close did you predict your time?
I was 57.
That's pretty good, too.
So, at the end, it just seemed like
I just wanted to cry almost, because you're just like, you still got what you have to do to go through that, It's just a hassle. And the people everyone was really, at every water stop they had, all kinds, and I'd take, just 2
and the end was pretty well organized. 5 o'clock, there would be, where the breath, it just maintains time. John and I have been trained kind of lives for running without, so we felt pretty good about our time.
This is an example of the finer clothing received at the race. Something that most people don't do, I think more go for a better time or something, but at least, if we never do, we can always say that we did it around the. I was pleased, and
we just got back 5 hours ago, so we're still in.
Okay.
Are we ready? Is it on?
Yep.
Here we are out in the wilderness of South by Southwest. Anyway, As you couldn't find any best mistake.
Hey,
Army Corps of here. I'm going water skiing this afternoon, and hoping to get the boat 4 foot gas. I'm gonna put a rubber band. That is my dancing. Last night we played a little hearts. I won. We
have the one for the most improved player.
Can you play in Russia though, Dad?
Oh yeah, but that's many years ago.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's have a close up on the fire here. Proof of divine. While the rest of the world was asleep. Free sample. But anyway, then I built a fire. Rubbing. To create the most primal of man's inventions.
Tell you something about my. Let's see. What? Are we ready? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Mission Lab. We'll get our call in about 2 weeks to know where we're going. Me, myself. And we have a few bets in the family on mission call. We're betting the European region, Salt Lake City North. And let's see, I guess I'm going to be working at the Purity Supermarket until about October 1st, and we'll see then, like, when I'm going.
I'm the all-time champion.
Hold her there. Hold her there, Stephen. Wait a minute.
That is.
Turn off the fan.
Ready to go then?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Now straighten it out, straighten it out. It's ready? No. Just go really slow until the line is on. Should the blower be back on now?
Actually, turn off the engine.
Okay.
You gonna go for it?
You done? You wanna go again?
All right. You gonna try it, Mom? Mom? Mom?
Yeah.
You gonna try it? There she is.
Oh. You ready, Steve?
Sending Stephen back to school. It is in September, about what, the 4th or so, and Stephen is going to leave and drive. Statements to make.
Steve, how do you feel after running the marathon?
Lousy.
What, compare this marathon with the Avenue of the Giants last spring. How do you feel, and what was your time in comparison?
Well, I ran a 3:58 there. And then a 3:08:51, 23 here. So it's about 32 minutes better. So I was really happy with my time.
Did you have any problems last time you didn't have this time?
Yes.
You want to discuss them or not?
I did use Vaseline last time on my legs, between my thighs. My legs started bleeding from the rubbing. This time I applied Vaseline and no problems on that one. So, I trained a lot for this one, which was good. 2 weeks ago today I ran an 18.5 miler down to Mendocino and back. That has a lot of hills, so I was accustomed to the lousiness of the... So then tapered off. I had a fever last weekend, which kind of concerned me. And but I got over that, so then I tapered off. And so we went down there yesterday and spent the night. And Dad didn't snore as bad this year, so that probably accounted for at least 20 minutes of my record. So we spent the night up in Rohnert Park, and we picked up my race packet yesterday afternoon. So I got my number there and stuff, and then we spent the night in Rohnert Park in a motel, and then got up at 4:30 this morning and got ready, and Dad took me to the Civic Center, and we were there. What time were we there? About 6. So he left me off there at 6, and I took a bus to the Golden Gate Park, where the staging took place. So I had to wait around there for about an hour. It was really cold. I didn't have my sweats on, so I kind of shivered listening to music and stuff. And then, so about half an hour before the race started, they marshaled everyone over according to race pace. And so I got in the 7-minute pack, and then about 10 minutes before the race started, we all crammed together, walked about 300 yards forward to the starting line, and then at exactly at 8 they rang the cable car bells to send us off. So it took me about 35 seconds to cross. So anyway, it took me 35 seconds to cross the starting line. My first mile was almost 9 minutes. I think about 8:44 or something like that. So that kind of concerned me with my... so I picked up the pace quite a bit. I think I was running so, and then... so I got my pace down by about 5 miles. I think my pace was about 7:15 or something a mile, which is really nice to have. So I didn't look at my watch hardly at all, which is good too, because like last summer when I ran the other Giants, I kept looking, and like only 30 seconds had elapsed, and you're about ready to die. So anyway, the race pace was nice. So at about 5 miles, just 5 miles in about what was it? About 35, 36 minutes, and I felt just like it was just like a jog, which was nice. So I was talking to people and everything, so it was really a relaxed pace. So then the first we went through Haight-Ashbury in the Mission District, the first 5 miles, and then we looped around to Mission, and then we looped around to Haight-Ashbury, and then we looped around to Mission, and then we looped around to Mission, and then we looped around to Haight-Ashbury, and then we looped around to Mission, 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 and then we looped around to bay more. And there was a guy about 5 or 6 miles. There's a guy playing the flute and a guy on the piano in the back of a truck playing Chariots of Fire, which was kind of nice, and a couple of break dancers and things. And the first spot there, about when we passed 5, some runners who were about 1.5 miles ahead of us looped back. We went around the block so we could see them again, so I saw some of the better runners then, which was neat. So we kept going and going and going. About 6, 7, 8, we went past the, down by the bay, and went through the the Embarcadero and all the piers and all that kind of stuff. And then, we ran into the Bay Bridge, right where where the Bay Breakers started. So I got down to 7:06 pace, which kind of concerned me because I had gone out about that same pace in Avenue Giants and then just wilted the last half marathon. So, but I felt really good and comfortable. So we went on. The miles just kept rolling off and felt really good. About half marathon, I could feel my, fatigue a little bit, not too bad. The tops of my thighs were kind of, a little bit aching. So anyway, we kept going, and it was kind of windy going out toward the Golden Gate Bridge. So I ran. There was a couple of hills, and we came up through this gate that goes into Chinatown, which is really neat. There's lots of people there, and so they were cheering us on. The people really helped because they cheer you in and everything. So I took water and erg every stop, which I think helped because I did, like last time, I took water and erg every time, but I was just dying for aid stations to come. I'd fold over on top of the aid station, just sit there and drink as much as I could. And this time I didn't stop once the whole race. I took the erg and water on the run. So I think that saved me a lot of time, and I felt really good this time. So we went up through Chinatown, looped back down through by the Trans-American building and everything. And then started heading out towards the Golden Gate Bridge out on by the marina and everything. And we saw the lead runners out by the marina that had already gone out to Golden Gate Bridge and were coming back. And I saw the guy who always runs the Mormon guy who always runs the Desert News Marathon. And I saw him and yelled, "Way to go, Salt Lake!" So maybe here. Out towards Fort Point, where it's right underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. So, 15, 16, 17, 18 miles, 19, just kept plugging away at 7:06, 7:06. I think by about 19 it was 7:08 pace, I think. Lost a couple seconds. So I remember thinking at 19, 2 weeks ago I ran 18 and a half down in Memphis, back there's lots of hills and everything, and I think I ended up with 7:22 pace. My goal was, this marathon was a 7:38 pace, which would give me a 3:20 marathon. So I kept thinking that, I was running 7:06 pace, and I could eventually, cut way back over into the 8s and still, have a net 7:38 pace, so I had that reserve. About 30 seconds a mile that I had banked up for the first 18 miles that I could cash in toward the end when I died, so I was kind of waiting for that to happen. So at 19 miles, I remember thinking, well, I've already done this much, so from here on out is new, but I still felt pretty good then. After about 8 miles, I had a little pain in my knee a little bit, but it never really bothered me. So then, by this time, my legs were getting pretty fatigued, and I did have a problem with this arm right in the joint there. It got really tired. I had to stretch that out once in a while. So anyway, 19 miles, we looped. We were going in the wind pretty hard, so I drafted off as many people as I could, but about halfway on, I kept passing tons of people. I don't know why, but no one passed me. So I talked to a guy for a little bit. I go, "What kind of pace are we on? You know, what are we going to finish at?" He goes, "Oh, about a 3:06 or something like that." And I go, "Whoa! If I do that, I'll cut half an hour off." I go, "Wow." He goes, he was trying to qualify for Boston with a under 3:10, so I was kind of getting surprised then how good I was feeling. So 19, we went to Fort Point, and right there we cut back, headed exactly the opposite direction with the wind, which is nice. And so I kept plugging away for kept plugging on. I was losing a little bit, but not too much. I passed like lots of people in there, and so we headed back towards the marina again. We went through Fisherman's Wharf going, and I think we didn't get that far this time. I don't know. But there was lots of people cheering and everything, and that was nice. And so about 22 miles, there was a hill that they had put in there. They were hoping they could go through a little tunnel to bypass the hill, but at the last minute they said they couldn't do it, so we had to run over that. The hills were really good for me. I spent a lot of time running on hills, up our hill, and in training and things, so they didn't really bother me that much. I passed a lot of people on the hill. So anyway, I'd run 20, but I continued at the pace I think by about 23, I was up to a 7:10 pace, and then I didn't hear any more paces till I was over. So anyway, I ran at 25 miles, from 25 to about a really bad side ache. I was thinking, oh no, am I going to have to, stop and walk or something? I hadn't walked at all yet, so I was proud of that and didn't want to. So I was hoping I wouldn't have to, but then, so anyway, had a bad side ache, and it went away after about a half a mile. So then I just gave it all I got and pushed her in, and finished up in 3:08:51, and I guess I hit my button, my stopwatch. Then immediately I just puked. So everyone, a lot of the helpers came around me. I was obviously a waste case, and so they grabbed me and walked me into a separate chute, walked me away, and a bunch of people were around me, asked me if I was okay and if I could walk and everything. I was okay, but I had contractions in my stomach, and so I puked 3 or 4 times, and so then they took me over to a little place just for a second. I sat down and I felt alright and walked away. So that's about it. I felt really good the whole way, and I'm happy that I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do. So anyway, no problem. I feel like crap now. So anyway, I got a medal. That's nice. San Francisco Marathon. And also, it's possible I may be in the top 1,000 of about 8,500 runners. So
Stay, hold your medal up again, will you?
So if I get in the top 1,000, I get my I get my name in the paper tomorrow. So anyway, we're gonna go up and watch the highlights right now. So I broke the 1924 gold medal winning time by about 20 minutes today.